Greetings from Math World. The thing we're going to do today is we're going to solve these quadratics that may or may not have complex solutions. In other words, imaginary numbers. The first two, all I'm going to do is plug these in for x. Okay, and if they end up being true, if it makes a statement true, so like for this example, if we end up getting 8 equals 8 on the left-hand side, then it's a true statement. Like on number 2, if we get 1 equals 0, that's not a true statement, so it doesn't work. Okay, so I'll do number 1, and then maybe y'all can do number 2 at home. So we're going to take negative I and put it in. So I got negative I squared plus 9 equals 8. Well, negative I squared is positive I squared plus 9 equals 8. And so a couple days ago, we talked about, if you need to go back and watch the lesson on imaginary numbers, I squared is negative 1. So negative 1 plus 9 is 8. Is that 8? Yes, it is. So that's my answer. Cool. Number 2, that one's a little trickier. I'll go ahead and show you a little bit of it. We got 3 plus I squared minus 6 times 3 plus I plus 10 equals 0. Okay, so distribute there, do a little box method there. I would tell you the answer is yes, but go ahead and work that and see if you can get it to be yes. It's kind of a fun problem. 3 through 5, we're actually going to solve it, and we're going to have some imaginary numbers. So this is like solving, just like before we got the roots or the x-intercepts or any of that stuff where it crosses. Same thing here, except I have a theory that we might get some imaginary stuff. So since we have x squared all alone, I want to get rid of that squared, so I'm going to take the square root of both sides and get x equals, whenever we take the square root of something, we get plus or minus, and then negative 36. And then let's go over here and talk about what negative 36 is. Negative 36 is the same thing as negative 1 times 6 times 6. And we talked about how if we have a pair of something, one's going to go away, the other one's going to go on the outside. So then I have 6 times the square root of negative 1. Well, square root of negative 1 is I, so I have 6i. So now we're going back over here. So my answer is going to be plus or minus 6i. And that works same thing for number 4 and for number 5. I'll tell you number 4 is x equals plus or minus 2y. I'll let you do the work on that one. And then number 5, we can go ahead and do. It's a little tricky. We're going to move our 2x squared over, so that's going to give me 4x squared. Move 5 over, that gives me negative 4. Divide first, then take the square root. So I get x equals plus or minus square root of negative 1 is just I. Boom. Number 6, this may be not as obvious, but this is like saying, you know, if one of our answers, or if our answers is plus and minus 2i, and plus or minus I, then for number 6, it's plus or minus 3i. So if one of them is 3i, the other one's going to be negative 3i. Alrighty, moving right along. Number 7, it says graphically, what does that mean when solutions are imaginary? Well, if solutions are real, that means they cross the x-axis. So if they're imaginary, it means they do not cross the x-axis. Let's move on. Next page says solve and sketch. These will go pretty quickly. I'll do a couple, and then we won't do all of them, so don't worry. We'll subtract 4 from both sides to get x squared equals 4. Don't have any negatives there. That's just going to be normal. Take the square root of both sides. So x equals plus or minus square root of 4 is 2. So I'm going to sketch this. Like I said, it's a rough sketch. So negative 2, positive 2. That's where they intersect. Boom. Rough sketch. Now what we could do is put this in the calculator. Now if we want to put it in the calculator, remember, we're going to have y equals. So if we pretend that this is y over here, I need to move this on the other side. So I'm going to get x squared. If I subtract 8 from both sides, I get minus 4. Put that in the calculator. It's going to look exactly the same like this one. We can use the calculator here to help us out with number 9. So it's got all the same numbers, they're just in different places. Subtract 8, and I get x squared equals negative 4 this time. Well, now I got a negative, so our little ears should perk up knowing we got some i's. So I got x equals plus or minus, and since y'all are experts at this now, I can skip a step and go 2i. Well, 2i is not on my x-axis, so it's going to be like somewhere around here or something like that. If I were to graph this in my graphing calculator, I would need to move 4 over, so I'm going to get x squared plus 4. Let's go take a look at that real quick. So on my y1, I want to do x squared plus 4. Let's see what our graph looks like. Sure enough, it's not crossing the x-axis at all. It's floating up there. Another opportunity or possibility could be that it's down here and it's facing downward and it's not going to cross the x-axis either. Let's do one more. We'll do one more. We'll skip 10 and let's go to 11 because it's a little more challenging. Oh, zoom in way too much. Too much zoom. There we go. All right. Let's get our x squareds on one side and our numbers on the other. Subtract 8x squared, I get negative 3x squared. Subtract 9, I get 9. Divide by negative 3. Huh. Well, I can only take the square root of negative 3. That's all right. So I get x equals plus or minus. The I is going to come out because it's negative, square root of negative 1. And then I have the square root of 3. Well, I for sure don't know how to graph this. But if I were to put it in my y1, I can go ahead and graph this one right here. I'm going to move 9 over, so I get negative 3x squared minus 9. Let's go take a look and see what that looks like. Negative 3x squared minus 9. Now the negative out in front puts it upside down. Oh, look, right there. So if I zoom out just a little bit, boom. So it looks like. So on my little sketch, it's going to be kind of like that. Hope that was helpful. If not, come in morning, lunch, after school, whatever. I'll be here. You have a good day.